Okay, Darren here, back with some more leather cleaning. Once again, due to the comments I get on videos, as well as customers, what we have here is a 03 Mercedes CLK. Seeing how it's 014, this would put this at about 11 years old. This leather, if you can see here, has been worn by the owner of this car, sliding his backside against this leather to the point where it has completely removed the finish off of this leather. It's also discolored it for whatever reason. I don't know if that's because of the material of the clothing or that's just what happens in the wearing down process. The point is I've already cleaned some of this and it actually looks very good. But a lot of people do not understand, in order to get leather, and by the way, I've seen leather that is much dirtier than this. This leather has a pretty thick grain to it. The thicker the grain, the more texture of the grain. That means the more dirt has the ability to get in and it's more difficult to remove. Not all leather is created equal, just as the grain itself is not all created equal. So some leathers will be extremely smooth and there won't be much texture or grain to it. This happens to be on the opposite end of the spectrum, where it has a pretty significant grain texture to it, which as it gets dirty, it just allows for more places for the dirt to hide and to accumulate. So with that said, in order to get it exceptionally clean, and I mean like showroom clean, as in clean as it ever is going to get clean, you have to be aggressive. So I have my stiff, but not so stiff where it's actually going to tear this leather up, but it's pretty stiff. It's a nylon brush. Actually got this one, it's OXO, actually got this one at Target, believe it or not. It's the what I call the winning combination, like the Three Bears. There's too stiff, not stiff enough, and just the right amount of stiffness so it'll get the job done without doing any damage. So it's the winning combination. Also have this scrub pad, which is purely synthetic. It's a non-abrasive scrub pad. I also have my toothbrush to get into the crevices, and I have my two types of cleaners. Now, this is an all-purpose cleaner. This is a heavy-duty cleaner. If you go to my website, I'll tell you exactly what I use. This, I'm not even going to tell you what it is because it's really a case-by-case. It comes in a concentrate. They actually both come in a concentrate, and you dilute them based on your cleaning needs. Now, because of my experience, I know that nothing short of the most heavy-duty cleaner and the most heavy-duty aggressive forms of cleaning are going to actually get this clean. So I just go straight to that. But I just want to demonstrate to you what I do personally and how aggressive I can get. So I'm scrubbing this side bolster very aggressively, and the dirt, because of the cleaner and the aggressive action, it's coming clean. And you'll notice here, once again, pictures and videos really don't do the real moment justice. It's very discouraging to get home, download the pictures, and in some ways it's the good news, because you can have a car that looks less than perfect suddenly look absolutely perfect on in picture. But when it comes to like the interiors and showing just how dirty this is, it's very anticlimactic because it just won't capture how dirty this is. But nonetheless, I'm going to show you how aggressive I get in order to get that grain truly clean. Now hopefully you can see, because still down here it's extremely dirty still. So once again, I'm going to scrub away. And I can use this pad also, mop it up, and it's clean. Now, something you need to be aware of is, now, while this wear mark is permanent and there's nothing that can be done about that as far as cleaning it away, the only way to fix that is to either replace this panel or have it what's called leather dyeing, which is really a misnomer, because really when it comes to the upholstery guys that re-dye your interior, it's much like body work. Well, they will actually sand it first, they'll put filler in there, and then they'll spray paint it with an aerosol can or with a normal spray gun. So to me it should be really called leather painting versus leather re-dyeing, because they're not actually re-dyeing the leather where the color permeates all the way through the leather. It's really just a superficial, it's just superficial. It's just made to look perfect, and it does. The problem is that it doesn't wear the same, it doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't clean the same. So it's a trade-off, and used car dealerships use it as a temporary fix to make leather look perfect. So the point is sometimes when you're cleaning leather and it's been allowed to get this dirty, is as you're cleaning it, it's a fine balance act between that winning combination once again. Because what will happen is there'll be so much dirt on certain areas like this that when you upon first inspection, you'll just think it's dirt. But as you clean it, it will start to reveal that underneath the material or the finish of the leather has been deteriorated to the point where once you remove the dirt, it's going to reveal that the finish itself has been worn away completely. So sometimes you have to make a judgment call, which is tough, because if you're not the customer, you don't know what his opinion will be. So I have to ask my customers, and I give them a little advance notice. It's like, hey, your leather's so dirty, when I clean it and I remove all the dirt, it could reveal some areas of the leather, like here for example, that will reveal that the finish has been worn off completely. There's no going back. Once that bell has been rung, you can't unring it. The only thing to do at this point is to re-dye it, which, like I said, is really repainting it. So this was so significant that I didn't have to clean it first. I can tell it's worn away. There's nothing I can do about this. What I can do though is clean the rest of the leather to where it literally is as clean as showroom, and then the customer decide what he wants to do past that, if he wants to engage with another vendor and have it re-dyed. So I've cleaned this. I use my heavy duty stuff. My cleaner, like I said, I know through experience that anything less than the heavy duty is just not gonna have sufficient results. And often, because it's there's this much texture and this much dirt, I will have to go over it 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, and I really have to treat each panel as a separate entity in order to get it right, just because there's so much texture. So I will go over each panel as many times as it's required in order to get it as clean as my demanding eye requires. And I like it clean, as in there's no dirt left whatsoever. So you clean it, you make a visual inspection and determine if indeed there is some areas that will still require some additional cleaning. Anyhow, point of the video is a couple things. Is the staining, nothing can be done about that. Yes, you can get that aggressive on leather. I've got a full page on how exactly leather's made. It's very revealing because most people as society, we're stuck with these visions of grandeur about leather and how it's such a delicate, exotic, fine material, which in some ways it is. But the point is through technology, they've made it much more user-friendly, so it's easier to clean. It withstands normal day-to-day wear and tear. So that's the good news. But with that said, is most leather is what's called corrected grain leather, which means that first it's been colored with aniline dyes, which are transparent in nature. So it's first colored that way. Then it's the texture is been retextured so that it's consistent. So any blemishes that are natural to the hide have been sanded away and retextured so it has a nice consistent grain to it. And then it's dyed with pigments that are opaque, which means you can't see through them. Then on top of that, it's finished with a clear coat, a clear finish. So the reality is you're not actually dealing with leather, that natural material. You're dealing with a unnatural, let me back up. You're dealing with a natural material that's been coated with unnatural coatings. So with that said, that really is mostly the good news. The problem is, as society, we're stuck in the past and thinking that if we find the right oils or the right leather conditioners or the right leather dressings, that we're going to turn bad leather into good leather, or we're going to turn good leather into great leather, or we're going to turn leather that's not very soft into some really fine supple leather. Some people think that it's like a catcher's mitt or a baseball mitt, where you've got to work it in and break it in with oils until it's a nice, soft, supple leather. That's just not the case. Go back 50 years into cars, maybe that would be the case, but today's modern day leathers vastly different than than leathers of days gone by. Anyhow, so that's my little video on this particular car. It can be aggressive. When you are getting this aggressive, you really have to watch what you're doing. Test a spot first. If you go to my website, I'll show you the particular products that I use, because that's really one of the key points, is that any off-the-shelf leather cleaner is going to be so mild, and they've engineered or they've formulated the cleaner with so much idiot factor built into it. In other words, they've had to dumb it down so far that any moron or any idiot can't hurt the leather or can't hurt themselves by using it. The problem is when you have any substantial amount of dirt, it will prove completely ineffective. Even with these types of methods, it just will not be effective at removing this amount of dirt. Therefore, you have to go to a product that's actually more aggressive as a cleaner, and you have to step up to more aggressive cleaning techniques. And that's where I employ the use of a stiff nylon brush, the synthetic nylon scrub pad, and the toothbrush. Okay, hope you learned something. We'll see you on the other side. Until next time.